All right, welcome everyone. I am Professor Jones. I am an alumni from here. I came to school here back in like 2009 to 11 or some shit like that. And I transferred to UC Merced. I got into Berkeley, I didn't like it, transferred to UC Merced. Got my bachelor's in applied mathematics and physics. With 4.0, I graduated with 4.0. And then I went to UC Santa Cruz, which is probably the most beautiful campus in California. And studied applied mathematics where I did astrophysics for my PhD. You'll learn a little bit about me. In a slideshow, I found it's easier if students know more about me. You're more likely to come up and ask me questions or raise your hand in class. You feel more comfortable. Some teachers like to be unapproachable. I don't think that's productive to a good education environment. That's me. I have worked at NASA. I started my experience with NASA at COS. If you're going through the STEM sequence, they do something, it's called the Community College Aerospace Scholars Program. And they're gonna send me an email in like a month and a half or so, something like that, saying, we're doing invites for the next batch of students that want to do it. So if you're interested in NASA one day and you want to like start exploring it now, let me know and I can give you more information. That is not progressing. There we go. I'm a dog person, not a cat person. Like some people love cats. I like my pets to worship me. Like I want them to be happy when I get home. And my dog goes apeshit. That is not my dog. That's my dog. His name is Lunar, and he is a Maltese. And the one on the left is when he was born, and the one on the right is what he looks like now. And that's my wife, Angie. We've been married 20 years now. Welcome.
Pardon?
Don't feel bad. You're not the only one that didn't know where to go.
I was in right next door over here.
I was down the hall. I was in the wrong room entirely. You're good. I like superhero shit. I like Marvel better than DC, but they're starting to make good DC movies. Like Aquaman was surprisingly good. For one of the worst characters ever created, make good movies. I like, Wonder Woman, stuff like that. Of these, I like Iron Man the most. Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, she's hot. Star-Lord's, I like Star-Lord and Groot, of course. Not Captain America. In fact, it throws a metal frisbee. I'm not impressed. It's not all that great. I do cuss on occasion. I don't cuss at students. I cuss with students. If I cuss too much, you can ask me to tone it down and I won't make any promises, but I will try to honor your request. Superheroes are nice and fun because they have superpowers, but like they're not realistic. If any of us had superpowers, we would not be fucking good guys. So if you've never seen The Boys on Amazon Prime, this is what superheroes would be like, or superpowered people would be like if they had superpowers. I like this show a lot. Season 4, was it season 4 or season 5 that just aired? 4? There was some weird shit in season 4, but it has some good scenes in there. I also like The Big Bang Theory. If you've watched it, I'm like rewatching it right now for like the 4th time with my wife. I'm like a cross between maybe Leonard and Howard. The show cracks me up. I like comedies when I watch TV. Then you'll see other ones on here. I think I have Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Scrubs. 30 Rock, What We Do in the Shadows. Like if I laugh, I like laughing. Like laughing keeps me feeling young. That's the comedy on vampires. It's fucking hilarious. I like to read. I like to read a lot. I read a lot as a teenager, and I stopped reading for like a while. And then my mom passed away 2 years ago, but she was like using my Kindle account. And I had Kindle Unlimited for her so she could read, and since I have the subscription, I'm like, I don't want to waste it, I'll start reading, and I haven't stopped reading. That was last year. I read 57 books last year on my Kindle at night. That's insane. When I think about it, that's like more than one a week. Some of them don't feel incredibly long, but that's my favorite series, Dungeon Call of Carl. It's like if the Earth was taken over by aliens and put everybody in a game show, kind of like Blade Runner or something like that. It's hilarious, and the audiobook is even funnier. It has like video game elements in it. But they're kind of minimal later on. I do like video games a lot. Does anyone recognize that? This is an old photo. Really?
Lich King World of Warcraft.
Excellent. Yes, this was Lich King and Warcraft. I played World of Warcraft and when it was vanilla, and I played Lich King. I think the last one I played was Panda. I ended up like having an account and selling it and then making a new one. I did it like 2 or 3 times. Me and my wife did it together. We were in vanilla WoW for a while. Vanilla just means the first one. There were raid dungeons where you could take in 40 people, and there were like, you could talk to each other online, but it wasn't like cameras and stuff. We were just like audio. And I was the raid leader, and trying to lead 40 people through a dungeon is not easy when you can't see them, especially when about 20% of them are getting high. And you know they're getting high because they'll hold down like the mic button and let the bong rip go while they're doing it. You totally, a bong is a unique sound that is not simulated by other things. Don't ask me how I know. But the reason why it is on here is I like video games. I play video games a lot. I have the only Xbox I've had was the first Xbox, but I've got like PS3, 4, 5. I had PS1. I don't think I had a PS2. No, I might have. Shit, I don't remember. All the Nintendos except like the most recent one, the Wii U. I just had the Wii. And I like online games, and NASA was asking me if you had raid leadership, or not raid, like leadership experience. And like when I was applying to be an intern, and I'm like, I don't know what to fucking say. Oh, I lead ad raids on World of Warcraft. If there's gamers anywhere, NASA's got them. You gotta think, they're fucking nerds. They do nerd shit. They gotta play nerd games. Well, I don't know if it worked, but I was the only one that got accepted. In like the math thing, everyone else was engineers or biologists, chemists. I was a math guy there, out of like over 100 something people in there. This was pretty fun. Like we would play on Saturdays, and like the first like month, every Saturday we played for like 8 hours. And we didn't get past the fucking bouncer at the door. Like he killed us repeatedly for 8 hours. And it would take him a little while, and we'd run back in and he'd fucking slaughter us again, and we'd rinse and repeat. Like that happened for 2 days or so. And then we like figured some shit out. And within 6 months, we were clearing the entire dungeon in 2 hours, which was, that's what I put as leadership. And this was my first internship at NASA. Both times I was out at Ames Research Center, which is in near San Jose. It's right near Google headquarters and Stanford University. This is sustainability based. It is like a mock-up of a moon base on Earth, except the window's open. You don't really want that on the moon. But it does recycle like 99% of its own water. It generates all of its electricity with solar. And it's a smart building. I was helping optimize the smart building doing computer coding, which I had to learn as I was going. It has sensors everywhere, and it will open windows and blinds to make it so the air conditioning was never needed. Like it was always the perfect temperature inside the building. It was scary as shit when it decided to open a window behind you, because those windows were like, that was the motor sound. And your like back is to it, and the first time you just fucking jump. It was very interesting, learning all the different computer programs. I had a good time. Next time I worked there, I was in the aeromechanics branch. Aeromechanics governs flight, not just spaceships or space shuttles, but like airplanes and helicopters and shit like that. This is a helicopter blade. It's called an airfoil. They are teardrop shaped and curved a little. And they have different thicknesses and different curves and stuff like that. And this is a computer simulation modeling a specific shape, a specific airfoil. And the goal was to like maximize the amount of lift the thing generated while minimizing the amount of drag. So like make it more fuel efficient and fly faster and shit like that. Like if this is it's not curved, but if that's like the helicopter blade, like the angle, if the wind's coming from this way, the angle it hits the wind changes everything. So we would have to tip this thing, do different things, whereas tip different ways. And this is doing like, it's applied mathematics and you're doing on computers. If you go down the full applied or the full math branch here at COS, you'll learn some of this, but not really like anywhere near this level. This is more like upper division stuff. But I was working on a supercomputer there, and like, as much as I liked the idea of working at NASA, that sounds fucking awesome. Like when you tell people you work at NASA, like everybody's like, shit, he's a fucking rocket scientist. Now I do know rocket science, but I wasn't doing rocket science. But like the idea of it was more fun than like actually doing it, because like I'm working on a supercomputer, it takes a couple hours for it to run. So I'm sitting there watching YouTube or stuff. Like if I wasn't an intern and I was working there full time, I imagine I would have other projects to do while it's running on the computer. But I didn't. I was given one task, and so I'm running around helping all the engineering students, like, because they've done forgot shit you're gonna learn in this class, like arc length and stuff like that. They forgot how to calculate it. But I like the idea more than doing it. And I never even thought I was gonna be able to, I'm a big guy, like, I'm a chunky monkey. I never thought I could work at NASA, like in my head growing up, it was astronauts. You've never seen it, an astronaut, ever, they don't have them. So I didn't like think I could work there, but like through COS, the opportunity arose, and I jumped on it, and they took me, they were like, you're doing a great job. So it was a lot of fun. So when I went to Santa Cruz, I studied astrophysics. Well, it was the applied mathematics, but my project, my thesis was on astrophysics. I was in the PhD program. I stopped a couple years short because it was also supercomputer waiting. This is a solar flare at 3 different steps, rising from the center of the sun to the surface and going up, you know, like the tube of looks like spaghetti coming out of the sun with fire coming off of it. That's a solar flare. And this is like a side view of that spaghetti tube rising up. And there's a lot of equations that go with it. If you take calc free here, hopefully someone will show you the Navier-Stokes equations. If you take it with me, you'll see it. Depending on how far you get. But you can't like do these by hand, they have to be done by a computer. And it took like 2 years for us to get the fucking code to work. It wouldn't even run for like a year. And it was thousands and thousands of lines of computer code. And I was building off a previous PhD student. He got his PhD, don't know fucking how, because he had gravity turned off. There was no gravity in the shit. And that's how we live. Like if the sun didn't have gravity, we'd go flying off into fucking space and we'd quickly cool off. The earth generates heat on the inside, but not enough to, you know, like give plants enough to fucking grow or feed us. We'd be dead relatively quickly without that gravity. It took me and both of my thesis advisors all sitting in a room going through the code. Well, we tried going through the code line by line at first. That was going to take forever. So we went to the Navier-Stokes equations. It had magnetics in it, which is not in the Navier-Stokes equations, but it's called magnetohydrodynamics. We were going through the equation going, where is this thing? Where is this thing? Where is this thing? And eventually gravity was the last one we checked because it seemed like a no-brainer. And literally, like it's like always the last one you check, but literally we went through every other possible variable first. But 2 years of watching a supercomputer run for 8 hours and not being able to do anything, because I didn't know if it was working, I said, this is not fun. I don't want my PhD, stop with my master's. When I was a student here, I tutored in the Mesa Center. And the dean had seen me tutoring. He said, if you decide you ever want to teach, come back. We'll get you a part-time, we'll get you at least a part-time job in teaching, see if you like it. So I did. I stopped my PhD. I said, I'm gonna go teach for a little while. And they said, well, don't drop out. We'll give you a year leave. And like, if you want to come back in a year, like if you decide teaching is not for you, you come back, just continue to work right where you left off. Then they called me like 360, like 2 days later. After that went through and they're like, do you wanna come back? And I said, no, I love my job. I was teaching part-time here for a year and I got my full-time job in 2017. 17, I think. And I love it. I like food. Tamales, actually not. I need to change this fucking slide. Everyone instantly recognizes them and knows Mexican food. I assume everyone, but if you didn't recognize that, I don't know, maybe you've just moved to fucking Visalia like this weekend. Like COS has over 70% Hispanic students or Latina, Latinx. That sounds so, like you say Latino or Latina, but Latinx just sounds, like now it sounds wrong. I like, like some asada tacos and shit like that. Speaking of Starbucks, I need to wet my whistle. Hi Keith, I see you online. I used to tutor on the weekends at Starbucks. And Mesa this last year decided to pay me to do the same thing. They knew I was doing it for free, and like, if you come in, you could help other students beside your own and get paid for it. I said, fuck yeah. So on Saturdays in Visalia, I'm in the Mesa Center in the John Muir building, starting this weekend from 9 AM to 12. And it will be every Saturday. Generally only like 6 to 10 people show up. You guys are welcome. If you have questions, you want to show up, you can ask questions and I can help you. And every once in a while, some of the other teachers come slum it with me, really, they're not getting paid. But like the engineering professor, Mr. Allen will come in there. Mrs. Redden, she teaches the upper division, not upper division, but like the higher level math courses here, like linear algebra and differential equations, usually. She teaches other courses as well. But I like Starbucks. Who's that?
Darth Vader.
Get out.
Good morning,
That's
Professor
okay.
Jones.
Rebel Scum calls him Darth Vader. I like the bad guys. I like Star Wars. Darth Vader is bent. Palpatine, I like Palpatine better, but he kind of like died like a little bitch. I like Vader. Lots of people like Yoda. Yoda had some good shit in his like some of his stuff, especially like the newer movies. Like one of them, he's bitching at Luke, like, I done told you to teach Jedis, and you did. You taught them everything but fail. How to do shit wrong. You guys are gonna get so many fucking questions wrong in this class, and you're gonna think, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I should change majors. I guarantee you, I have missed more questions than you've ever fucking tried in math. I've been doing math longer, and I still make mistakes. I will make mistakes while I'm lecturing you. Hopefully, you'll point them out, because they'll be obvious. It'll be shit like 5 + 2 is 10. I'm getting ahead of myself. I see 10 somewhere on the page. I'm looking at what I want to do. Call me on it. If you see some bad arithmetic that you know is wrong, say something. Don't let me go through the whole problem. And like 10 minutes later and a page later, you're like, Mr. Jones, I don't understand why you said 5 + 2 is 10. Maybe because I made a mistake. I'm moron. So you're gonna make mistakes. Get over it. We all make mistakes. Learn from them. You're gonna be using an online program for homework, and when you click it and it says you did something wrong, it will actually tell you like the right way to do it, and if you're lucky, what you did wrong, but that's not usually they usually don't do that. Because it's hard to program in what you did wrong. They don't know what you did on your paper. Like read what it says, learn from it. If you don't know, like you can always, I'll show you later on, asking an instructor and stuff like that, how to contact me with your questions and stuff so I can help you. Don't give up. Don't make mistakes. I like video games a lot. This is Metroid. Does anyone know the character's name? What's the character's name?
Is there a few Samus? Or Samus?
Sam Smith. There's fucking gamers in here. Lydia's class, she took stats with me this summer. Yeah. She took stats with me this summer, and like her class had like, I don't know, 3 gamers in the Who plays video games in here? Oh, fucking thank God. Like something in common. Like her class, and like I had 2 stats classes this summer. The only thing I had in common with a lot of students is we all like Mexican food. That doesn't make a good connection. I like Metroid, I like Zelda, I grew up on Nintendo, I didn't have literally like a PlayStation until I was older. How old do I look? Two of you I know my age, or I've at least heard it once, don't answer. I'll go.
42.
42. Anybody else got another guess?
50.
50?
21.
This ass. 21, that's low ball. You could. 39 is, and I'm actually 49. 50 was really close. Most people guess 42 or like mid 30s. Eat a lot of preservatives, you keep your youthful. That's all I can do. Or like watch comedies a lot. My wife likes watching horror. Her comedy is watching me watch horror. And it's all scream and what was it? Lights Out. Is that the one where like the monster only appeared when the lights were out? Alright. It was from like a, it started off as like a little TikTok video or some shit like that, and they made a movie out of it. I humored my wife and went to the movie theater to watch that with her. And there's one scene where like the mice are inside and all the blinds are shut, but there's still enough light coming in, like the monster comes out a little bit. And he's like laying on the couch and she's like sitting on the top of the couch, like leaning over like, and I hear. And it cracks me up a little bit that someone's like, sounds like a beaten dog or something. And then I realized it stopped when I laughed, and it was my own fucking throat. And then I laughed at myself, and the laughter, like I laughed loud, and I started to shit on my wife, and she screamed. So that was fucking, that was enjoyable. Zelda, I love Zelda. Like I played, it took me a long time to play Breath of the Wild on the Wii. No, no,
No, the
Switch.
Switch. Did you collect all the Korok seeds or no?
No, fuck no,
I
Jesus Christ,
gave
that's,
up. I
that's all.
got.
I did not finish Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild, because when you have all the downloadable content, there's like 120 shrines, and I had 119 of them, and the motherfucker that comes out with the blood moon, it took me forever, I finally looked it up. I'm like, I do not want to sit around and run around the same spot until that fucking blood moon spawns. So I just stopped. I didn't even, like I cleared all the way to Ganon's, I went all the way in, all the way to Ganon's thing. Didn't go and kill him because I like to like do everything except like the collectible, like that
I
was,
gave up on the seeds.
someone's fucking batshit crazy on that. You wanna see some interesting videos on video games, the people that fucking still play Breath of the Wild, I see some crazy shit, like shooting the arrow way up in the air and fucking hang gliding for days, and then watching it hit a target that's literally off the screen. Like, holy fuck, how long did you practice that move? Here's the kingdom. 215 hours. I beat it, but I didn't do everything there either. Like I had like the overworld cleared, the sky cleared, but like the underground, it was like maybe 2/3 map. Holy shit. Perhaps my favorite video game series. Who knows what that is? Raise your hand. Oh, even better, more. Every once in a while, it's only like once in. Dark Souls is so much fucking fun. I have friends that are so good at like fighting games and everything, and they play this and they're like, I'm not playing it, it's too hard. I'm like, no, learn to play. I did. I started playing Dark Souls 2, and like I played Dark Souls 1, and I kept hearing like good things about Dark Souls, and like you start off on an island, and I walk over the edge, and granted, I had been drinking a little bit. And I walked over the edge and looked over, looked down, see if it was like loot over the edge, and I fucking fell off. Like in the first 30 seconds. And it gave me an achievement. And like, congratulations on your first death. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm like, I don't want to know, fuck that. Like, I just got mocked. The game mocked me. And then I died to the fucking dog, like the first dog for like 2 hours. Until I figured out you can't just button mash. You gotta fucking dodge and do all sorts of shit. Once I figured out how to play, oh my god, this shit was fun. I have not tried the DLC for Elden Ring yet, so if you're playing and you like it, You tell me you like it, but don't tell me about the bosses. I did do Elden Ring all the way through. Did all the endings of Elden Ring, like saved it at different points so I could check them out. I played The Witcher 3 for a while. We like the Witcher TV show, me and my wife. What is he doing now? Like Warhammer or some shit like that, Henry Cavill?
Work on that. He was in the Wolverine movie. That was hilarious.
Was he? I haven't watched it yet.
No, I saw it yesterday, it was pretty cool.
Was it good? I saw the ad for it with like ketchup and mustard,
Oh,
and I fucking cracked me up because they're the exact same colors as Deadpool and Wolverine, like the same shade of red and yellow. Like, how the fuck? It literally is the same shade. This is Lucifer. It's a TV show. It's not like the real devil. It's about the devil and Christian mythology or religion. I like this show a lot. I was part of it got turned off by Fox after like season 3 or 4. And I was part of the Save Lucifer campaign on like social media. And we got it back on Netflix and they finished it. This is a really good show. He's very interesting. So I like all that. I like the gruesome shit. Like this is Walking Dead. If you don't recognize it, this is the scene that my wife and I stopped watching it the first go through. We're like, nope, this show's just too fucking dark. It's not really about zombies anymore. And like years later, like this last year, I don't even know if it was January later or like late last year, like last fall. We started again and we got to we knew it was coming. We knew what to expect. And now like Negan is like my favorite guy in that fucking show. Like he's like really fucking interesting. He's got a good character arc. Lucille's the bat, in case you haven't watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God, like I get so.
I couldn't watch the last episode
Of which,
of the very last season.
of the original,
Yeah.
you didn't watch?
I heard too many things. I was like, I'm not gonna watch that.
You kinda have to watch it
I know,
just so you
I have
can.
to pull the trigger at some point, but.
Because they have a new season later on, like,
Right.
and it takes place later, and without that
That's-
episode, you don't know what would happen.
That's why I'm probably gonna watch it.
But which is why they like made the new season. Cause like all the fans were pissed off, like this show was good.
It was, I mean,
It's 7 seasons, like he is a blood spatter analyst for the Miami Metro Police Department. By day and like serial killer by night, but he's like more like Batman. If Batman killed people, he only kills bad guys. And working for the police department, he knows who the bad guys are, and he knows the ones that are escaping justice. And so he like goes and offs them. And his wife, not his wife, his sister, actually they have a boyfriend and girlfriend in real life. His sister on the show is a police officer, and his dad was a police officer, and so like. Trying to not get caught by your family, eventually, like, she finds out, but like. It's good, he's eventually, like, every season, there's like. He's killing normal murderers and like rapists and stuff like that, but there's always like a serial killer, he's
smart.
yeah, he's got a major mark that he's trying to catch the whole time. There's been some good characters filmed in that role.
Oh, that's good.
Game of Thrones, I have not watched season 2 of House of Dragons. I know they're coming up with another spin-off, like the Night of the Seven Kingdoms or something like that. Apparently, I saw like a little clip where the author has like 6 more fucking shows intended, rather than like finishing the book series. I read the books, like I read all the books all the way up to like the last chapter of the last book he did, because it was about Bran. If you've seen the show, if you've watched it, has anyone watched Game of Thrones? Okay. So the Hodor scene with the scene with Hodor, that's the chapter I think I didn't read. Cause I saw Bran show up and Bran was my least favorite character. I'm like, fuck this. But that's where he stopped right. I knew everything that was gonna happen, like the Red Wedding, I knew that shit was coming. It was hard to watch it and my wife at the same time, she was fucking horrified. And then like my mother-in-law moved in with us and. We're like, oh, she'll like this show. And so like we restart the show and we get to the Red Wedding scene and my wife like looks at her mom every once in a while for the Red Wedding scene. Mom don't fucking flinch. And she's watching it. And I like even asked her afterwards, you know what happened, right? And she told me what happened. I'm like, nothing? Nothing? Like, I felt a little nervous falling asleep in the house after that for a little while. You gotta be a little psychopath to like be okay with that scene. I like the show. If you have kids and have not seen it, do not watch it with your kids until you've watched a few episodes, and like one episode right away will tell you not rather than that you're gonna watch this with your kids. Without like giving anything away. There's my guilty pleasure. Does anyone watch this?
Survivor.
Yeah. Does anyone actually watch it? Alright, yeah. I work at the Diocese of Fresno, which is like the headquarters for the Catholic Church. Before I came back to school for mathematics, I did accounting. And I was the only guy in the office of all women. And like one of the early seasons of Survivor was men versus women. And all the women were talking shit about how the women were gonna beat men. And I'm like, I'll fucking bet you. And so like I had to see if I won. I still to this day don't remember if I won. I don't remember if it was a guy or girl who won the show, but my wife and I started watching it. And we've been watching it ever since. This is my guilty pleasure. Like Survivor shows for reality TV to me is like meh, but I like it. I like the Pixar shows a lot. I actually know someone that works for Pixar. Well, he's Disney now. I met him through my affiliations at CUS. When I was graduating here, I won the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship, which is a national scholarship, pays for your like transfer college. And they had like a scholars weekend, and I went out, and the first guy I met, his name's Joaquin Baldwin. He is, what did he say? He's a lead designer, lead layout. We got a lot of weird fucking titles for people that work on this shit. He started off with just doing like claymation cinematography, and now he's like a big shot at Disney. He does like Zootopia and a bunch of them. He's written books. I'm helping beta read him. He's fascinated as fuck to know a NASA guy. I love knowing somebody that works at Disney. I don't think he made this room, but like he's done work like it, and I like this shit. I like him. That's some old school shit. Actually, not too old because they had a movie recently. It was actually way better than that fucking Crystal Skull shit. This is Indiana Jones, Dr. Jones. It's why I stuck with my PhD program longer than I fucking wanted to. Because I was starting to hate my PhD work. Because my initials are, my name is David Richard Jones, so my initials are Dr. Jones. And I could have been Dr. Jones if I just fucking hung out. Stay with it. I like the Indiana Jones stuff. This is Indiana Jones. The original, despite being old as fuck, is still good. Temple of Doom, what is it?
All-Star.
No, Raiders of the Lost Ark is the first one. Temple of Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom, I think is the second one. That's Indiana Jones, and the third one's really good. That's got like Sean Connery and. If you hear me say clever girl to you, regardless if you are a guy or a girl, I am referencing this fucking scene. And if you don't recognize the threat yet, you're probably already dead. Yeah, I was alive when this came out, rather than a lot of you. And I love, like, despite not being hyper masculine, I love all the boy shit. Dinosaurs, robots, all that shit. And I still do. I'll watch Transformers, I'll watch Jurassic Park, all of them, I love them. The little boy in me has not died, despite being 49. We're getting near the end. I bet you're all glad. You're like, tired of hearing about it. What is that? Finally.
Flux capacitor is.
It is the flux capacitor.
I was like,
It's from Back in the Future. Back in the Future, I loved it. Time travel is really neat. The idea of time travel is really neat. The book, The Time Machine, is really fucking good. If you want to learn how real time travel works, take Physics 3 here. It's called time dilation. It's not like time travel, it's time dilation. It's one way you'll find out. If you decide you're going for like engineering or something, you're taking Physics 3, you'll learn about it. Good stuff. I play D&D. Does anyone know who that is?
Tiamat.
Wow, you're like my favorite Like, most people recognize Dragon, but don't know it's T-Met. Literally most, like, 1 out of every, like, 3 years, someone will recognize T-Met. I play D&D not every weekend, we used to play every weekend, like, we drive up to Fresno. Pandemic hit, and like some people moved to San Diego, now we do it on Zoom, but like, we're all in different towns. So that's maybe once a month, maybe if we're lucky, 2 times a month. I'm playing, I don't know, it's this Saturday or Sunday, but it's that, one of those afternoons. It's still like, I'm a nerd, what can I say, or geek, or whatever you wanna call it. I like music, that's the Rolling Stones logo. I like rock and roll, old classic rock more than a lot of stuff, but. I just did a parody of Wonderwall. For my friend's D&D group, I will not share it with you because it is completely inappropriate. Like he said, like, PM is my good friend. And he like was telling, he just makes shit on the spot, like there's an Ed and he's like a 2-headed giant. It's like, oh, the end, like they were stealing all our cattle. And he like, I don't know why he said it, but he told the players, like, one of the characters said, and then fuck my sheep. And they ended up going and killing like the Eden. But yeah, that's what the song's about. So that's why I'm not sharing it with you. But I had fun doing it, like pulling up the lyric or the like a karaoke for Wonderwall and figuring out how to do audio and record my voice with it. It was fun. I think he's the one that said it, but he could be wrong. This is fucking so spot on. It's fucking scary. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. If you tell yourself you can't do it, you can't. You cannot. You will never get it done. Mostly because you won't put in the effort to do it. If you don't think you can do it, why waste your fucking time doing something you don't think you can do? So, like if at some point you're going through your education, whether it's this class or another, and you get to your point and you're like, I don't know how to do it, I can't do this. Stop and like tell yourself, I can do this. Maybe I need to change something. And lots of like other students can tell you, maybe give you ideas on what to do, maybe take tutoring. We have in the library, the building next door, building A, if you go up the steps is the library. Somewhere in that building is a math lab. They moved it from when the last time I worked in there. But like, there's a math lab in there with people like half the time there's someone with a master's degree in there. Other times is with students that have taken these classes and know what they're doing. If you go to the Mesa Center, if you're on the Visalia campus ever, the Mesa Center is filled with students that know how to do this stuff. And they have tutors for it and everything. And I will be available on weekends. Don't tell yourself you can't. You can't. Like I tell myself, I can't dunk a basketball. I know that. I tell myself that. But I bet if I really wanted to, I could put in the effort, lose the weight, learn to get the vertical jump down. I'm only like 5.5 feet tall. That's a big vertical jump. But I think if I lose enough weight and practice enough, get the fitness going on, I think I could do it. But I also like, no, I can't do it. And so that went. Like, I don't want to put in the effort. A lot of times that will be, if you want to stop your education, it's not going to be that you can't do it, it's that you're not going to want to put in the effort. But if that happens, think about what you want to do long-term after you're done with school. I worked at Taco Bell and McDonald's for a while. I did accounting for a while, but like I was working a little over minimum wage because I didn't have a degree. I just had classes in accounting for a while. And then like, now I make 6 figures, so like, and all was from going back to school. So not every major has that, but a lot of them do. So remind yourself of what you're here for. That's usually the best way of getting over, I don't want to do it, is remind yourself why you're doing it. And if you're over 18, like 19 or 20, you have a job, you generally have a little more motivation and incentive, right? You're like, I don't want to fucking do that. For me, it was accounting. I thought it'd be great, money, math. The math was all like, shit, I think a monkey with a pencil and maybe not even a calculator. I think the monkey could be taught the arithmetic, like adding and subtracting, shit like that. Accounting doesn't do a lot of math. basically done. That's it. We'll go over the syllabus, we'll look at the homework in a little bit, the homework system. But it's been like 45 minutes, if you guys wanna take a break, the bathroom's right down there, we'll give you guys like 10 minutes. After we do the syllabus, I'll take roll and then. Is there anyone here that wants to add that isn't already enrolled?
I'm on the wait list.
Okay. Okay, let's do it now. If you're here. Come on up and I will give you information. If you need it, I'm kidding. Hi. Let's see, one that is gonna be easy to enter on. I'm confused, let's go with that one for you. And you'll need add code or CRN 17826.
And then 17.
826 is the CRN.
Awesome,
Okay,
thank you.
let's see, let's give you one that's easy to read. Let's go with that one.
Oh, wait.
Again, 17826 with CRN. CLN. Okay. 17826, only, that looks like it doesn't want to enter.
What is it?
There's just plenty of room here, so we got it. That looks like an easy here.
Thank you.
That's a class that's. The other. That is.
Okay. I think someone else had a class and. At like 10 o'clock, at 10 and so they had to leave early. Yeah, it's not a problem. As you see, I am recording it, so like if there's something like if. In the rare event that we're actually going all the way up to a buzzer and if we had to leave early. You know, let's check what you missed online. I actually, I use the document camera up here. It projects up there. It projects onto Zoom. And it says it's on paper. I scan them and upload them. The video is recorded. I download it. I put it on YouTube. I put the YouTube link and the document that I scanned in there. We'll look at it in a second. Keith, can you hear me? I assume you can, you're still on Zoom.
Yes,
Yes. The screen's coming through just fine?
yes.
Awesome. Let's see. Let's see if I change it. I don't know that this is changing what's on here. And no, it's still showing this, so I gotta figure out. How do I get it to share the document projector? Like I better figure out the document camera before my top 2 class tonight. Or. Huh. Figured it out. So it's advanced second camera. Hopefully I've done this. I had something in common with you, and it makes me a little more approachable. I'm a human. I'm not someone of God. I'm actually an alumni from here. In fact, I started off in a class lower than this. I took calculus in high school, but it was like 10 years or so before I went back to school. And like, I was using arithmetic, not calculus. So like, I forgot a lot of shit. I was back in like college algebra. So like math 35. But went through the entire sequence and got my degree and I'm happy as hell. With our job, you get to pick your schedule, you pay a lot of money, whatever the fuck you want. Like, I'm wearing like a Syllabus polo today, just, I don't know, I got a wild hair at my ass. I'm usually wearing a t-shirt. I could wear fucking flip-flops. I could wear sandals and socks if I wanted to. I can cuss. I can literally do damn near anything I want, as long as I just like don't do anything inappropriate for the students. Or like, it was over the one in Catholic, but can't do something inappropriate to like some of the missions either, so. Like, I just have to act like a civilized, semi-civilized human being. Yeah, that's. I'm teaching all these courses right now. Well, this one's an old student from previous class. Is anyone missing? Are we just hanging out for nothing? Or did everyone, like, is anyone that was sitting next to you still missing? Or is everyone back? Oh, you're right, it was you right there. Okay, we're not just wasting it. Cool. Everybody looks back now. All right, guys, so this is our spot in Canvas. I will send announcements here often. Is it not shut? Oh shit, never change it back. Good call. Oh, gotta remember to do the right thing over here. Really, you gotta put it way back there. Oh, there we go. All right, our canvas screen. This is gonna have what you're gonna wanna get done in the first week, as well as starting with some other stuff. Just for a quick note. You'll see on like the syllabus tab, I have links to our syllabus, which we're gonna go over. We're just doing some basic stuff. We'll get started on Monday. There's no math today, or not Monday, Wednesday. There's no math today. We will get started on Wednesday though. So you have until Wednesday to do some of the other stuff, get it dumped out. It's relatively easy. Click back to home, your home screen. First one is just going through this orientation module. Introduce yourself. I'll tell you, like I give you a really long drawn out one here. I have a written one that has a little different information on there. Just to give you an idea, but you can say as little as you want or as much as you want. I will take roll today, but I'm gonna verify like attendance by you responding and doing the introduce yourself. If you only say hi, your name will show up and that's all you need to do. But like the more I know about you, the more your peers know about you, you might actually find people that you have shit in common with, make friendships. If you're who's planning on taking like calculus? Who's going into like a STEM degree? Most of you, all right. Now's a good time. You got a long walk with people around you. You're gonna be taking a lot of classes. You're gonna see a lot of faces in other classes later on. Make friends now. Make a study group now. If you do not have never studied with others, you will find it to be beneficial no matter how good you are or how not good you are. I did not want to study with others because when I was first starting at COS, I was in the base, I was taking this class and then pre-calculus, which is like the class we don't teach it anymore, but it was the class after this that like blitzed through college algebra and trigonometry all in one at a little bit higher level. Both in summer, both 4-week courses. It was brutal. Like there might have been 10 of us that passed both courses. But the first week or two, first week I was like going home and doing my homework at home. And one of the students was like, come over to the Mason Center, just try one day. And I did. And I ended up helping him and a couple other students way more than I got helped. But I did not know something, and I asked, and one of them knew. And they told me, so I'm like, fuck, this is actually beneficial. I may be helping others more than I get help, but I'm still getting help. And then I realized it took a while to figure this shit out. Helping others made me better. Like I learned trying to explain math to somebody else. You gotta stop and think about how you would put in your own words and shit, and it makes you better. You get better at it. You gotta think about it more. So I got more out of it. Study with others. If you introduce yourself, you find people that you might have stuff in common with. And you can, after you introduce yourself, you can read what other people posted. If you come back after Thursday when everyone should have entered it, you can read through everyone posted, and you can decide hey, I got A, B, and C in here. I got something in common with, and we can be friends. You never know. Go through them. Let's see. This is something that's helpful. We will be doing office hours in here Mondays and Wednesdays before classes 7:30. I'll be here generally by 7:30. If I'm not here at 7:30, it'll be a couple minutes after. But I find it easier to get on campus if you're here before 7:30 because then you're not fighting all the high school students trying to get to school. It's clear. Roads stop empty if you come at 7:30. Like I told you guys, I'll be in the Mesa Center on 9 a.m. to noon over in Visalia. I will get you a room number today. I'll find out what the room number is. Cause like Davis, he took college algebra with me like in spring. He wanted to come a couple times and couldn't fucking find it. And like I never gave the room number like a dipshit. But like, those are when I have guaranteed availability. If you need to meet at some other time, you can always email me, text me. My cell phone number is up there somewhere. But if you text me, the first time you text me, like, tell me your name, preferably last name too. Cause like, there's more than one of you, I guarantee, no matter how unique your name is, well, that's not true. I've seen some pretty fucking unique names. But most of us have a name that other people share. Give me your last name and tell me what class you're in. As you saw, I had a fucking full screen of classes I'm teaching. So like, you say like, I'm in this class, I need help on a problem, like. A problem, you just tell me the problem number? I don't know, which class you're in? It's not helpful. I'm gonna immediately prompt back, who dis? Or some shit like that, like this isn't how, so get some information. The thing with texting is useful because you can take a picture of what you're doing. The homework we'll see, you're able to do like, ask my instructor, which is really helpful. Because it will send me the problem you're working on. And I might see that, like, fuck, you just wrote down the goddamn wrong numbers. It said 3x and you said 2x. It shit happens. You know, I'm gonna do it all the time in here. I'm gonna say one thing, write down another. Even if I don't do the 5 + 2 is 10, I will say 3x and write down 8x or some shit like that. Like. If I ever do that, say, which is it? And that way I can double check, because I might have said the right thing and written the wrong thing, or written the right thing and said the wrong thing. But clearly, if I say 2 different things, or say one thing and write another, something's wrong. And if you like want to meet on Zoom, we can do that. Stuff like that. I've literally met someone at 6 a.m. on Zoom once a week, because they were like in nursing and had a family and 3 kids and a full-time job. And that was literally the only time during the week that she could meet with anybody, any tutor ever. And she ended up getting, she didn't think she was gonna pass, but she ended up getting an A, it was great. She did really well. I check my phone often. But it is on mute, like. For everything, like only like, there's a whole, I don't know, my friend installed the app for me, but like only certain people get through right away. My doctor, my wife, and like my closest friends will like go override the mute sound. But everybody else is usually not somebody that wants to call. It's you know. What are they called?
Spam.
Yeah, it's spam.
Robocalls.
Robocall, spam, surveys, shit like that. Lecture content will be in here. There is a Discord channel. Join it. Really? I already have an account. Because I want to show you something on the app that you might like for later courses. Where the fuck is Discord? Oh, Discord. Let's just do this, Discord. I'm not seeing it on my fucking main screen right now. I wonder if I swipe it off. Fuck. Where is it? This sucks. I did not think it was gonna, I forgot it was in the new room. Where is the fucking QR scanner in Discord mobile app? We'll come back to this on Wednesday. Enough wasting time on that. There's reasons to join us. I will show you on Wednesday why. One of them is I checked that often too. And like, it is a bathroom for COS. And so like everybody that's taking these classes is. Many of them are still here, some of them are still in calculus. They answer questions on this stuff too. So you have access to like instant tutoring, basically. I'm the most active teacher on it. I check it off and then we'll respond. Back to this. I do have a YouTube channel. You can get to it with Jefe's videos. Or if you're like on your phone and you don't want to log into Canvas. Like this is where you'll be able to find the videos that we're making.
Having a hard time understanding your instructor.
We're gonna see her later this semester.
I get
She
it.
does a rule for Craig that's really good.
Frustrating and overwhelming. You're not keeping up with your professor. Your textbook reads like a form.
Can you, Professor Jefe?
Sure, you're the only one who can't seem to connect the dots. The reality?
What
is
the
this is
hell?
not teaching math.
So Professor Jefe, there are like way too many Joneses. There's one Professor Jefe. Like even if I did Professor David Jones, there's fucking just too many of us. Jefe was the nickname that the guy I worked with at NASA, he gave me that nickname. Me and him were like commuting from Fremont over to Mountain View. And he had his 3 daughters with him. He was from Puerto Rico or some shit like that. And we dropped him off at daycare and he started calling me Jefe. I had no idea what it meant, but it sounded like heifer and I was fucking insulted. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And he would never just tell me what it meant. And then he'd be like, it means box, but he would like smirk while I said it. And I don't know why I never fucking Googled it. But I like for the longest time, I just thought he was fucking with me. I was telling students about this story. Like one of my first semesters teaching. And so a couple of them just started calling me Jefe. So I liked it and I started using it. You can find me if you look it up, Professor Jefe, I'm here. Like click on playlist. You'll see, if you go down, do computer science, I'm in here. Stats, we have, our class is math 54, but it was called 154. Where is it? There it is. It'll say trigonometry. Maybe I can rename this so it says PreCalc A or PreCalc B. But like next semester, if you're taking calculus with someone else, I'm not teaching Calc 1 next semester. And you want to see other videos besides what they're doing, I've got a playlist there for that. Calc 3 is up here. And I'm teaching Calc 2 this semester, so I'll have a Calc 2 playlist after this. So like, if you want to see other content, I'm available. Ooh. Let's see. Homework and testing, we will be doing, the homework will be in my MyLab. You're gonna need to buy access to it. I'll walk you through that in a second. You can get a couple weeks free for a while, it's like buying a textbook. But testing will be in person on paper. So like, don't get reliant on some of the handy tools on solving stuff on the homework because you're not gonna have them on the paper version. But I'm trying something new with you guys, you and Calculus 1 this semester. Before each test, we're gonna do a group practice test. I will give out the practice test ahead of time. Like, so you can take it home, we're gonna at home, but when we come in here, you're getting like groups of like 4, so. Everyone has to write the solution to at least one problem. But like the idea is for you guys to discuss it, like share, did you guys get the same thing? Then that's easy, you can go through it really quickly and fill it out. If you got different things, teach each other, help each other. A lot of times, it's much easier to learn shit from your peers than it is the teacher because you're not nervous about talking to your peers. Unless you have like high anxiety or something like that. But it's not like worth extra credit yet, but it might be. I might use it as extra credit for the test when you turn it in. We'll see how it goes. But there's a benefit for doing it. If it at least is a little extra credit on the test, it's extra credit on the test. Let's see. Homework and enrolling in my math lab is the next tab. This literally has information on it. I do have an extra credit policy called leveling up. Cause I'm a gamer, and so I bring gaming into my fucking school shit. Level up is when you do 70% of your homework for a given test. You will level up and it leads to extra credit. We'll talk about it when we get to the syllabus. And then like, if you don't hit a level on one of the tests, you don't get any extra credit for that test, but they do compound. So if you do hit every level and you hit like max level, there's like bonus at the end. For my math lab, this walks you through, it's a video on how to do it. Here's a handout on how to do it if you want to follow the instructions there. But I'm just going to do it in a second when we get to it to show you how everything works. But this is where you'll find what you need. This is the code you need. You're going to ask me, what's the code to my math lab? And I'm going to say, it's in the fucking canvas. And it's in the syllabus. You'll see it in the syllabus. If you didn't see it in either spot, you're not doing your initial job of reading the orientation module. I mean, on the main screen, it fucking says my math lab. Every once in a while, my voice takes this inflection. That is Carl's voice in the audiobook on Dungeon Carl. When he gets a little worked up, he sounds like that. Every once in a while, I catch myself doing it. I've listened to it like 4 times. Read it like the first couple books, and then like someone said, "Why are you not listening to it?" And I listened to it, and it sounds a little bit like Patrick Warburton. In fact, so much so that later on, when you meet his dad is done by Patrick Warburton. So he plays the Tick, and he's been in a lot of TV shows. If you don't, you know who he is, even if you don't know his name. Unless you don't watch TV. But every once in a while, I'll catch myself talking like him. There's info. Oh shit. Did I do it ahead of time? There it is. John Muir 124. It's in the module now, orientation module. Okay, there's free tutoring. This is handy when we get to calculus, because right now there's like a bunch of students in Calc 1, and we're all right now using the same book. And the library used to have like 120 copies, and now it's like down to 67, as students have not returned them. For some reason, like they didn't do anything, like put a hold or anything on their closet. This let them not return. But like we're changing Calc book soon, and Mason knows, and they've already said they're planning on buying new like textbooks to back up the new sequence when we switch. If we switch, we're deciding this semester. But there's other clubs that you can go in there. Mesa has specific requirements to be an official member. But to go to Mesa and get tutoring and participate in all the activities, there are no requirements. So if you look up Mesa like on COS website under like student activities, I think it says like first generation college students, shit like that. You don't have to meet them to show up to get the tutoring and do all the activities. They do field trips, different like places, including colleges, and when you're looking at transferring. They will have on occasion different speakers come in and talk to you from service industries, from research in like the sciences. Great spot. The syllabus tab here reflects what it has over here. Here you can see a roster of what we're planning on doing each day. By section. And this is in the book we're going to be using. I deliberately wrote solo, meaning one, because you're not taking the official test as a group. Like the group practice test is to help buffer your skills right before the real test. But it generally takes place right before it. Like it like gives us a day between the last day you had. Like it'll make it so your official test is always at least 1 week after the last lecture we did, giving you plenty of time to do the homework. Like if you can't do one section of homework in a week, probably too busy for college. All right. Syllabus. You should read through your teacher's syllabi. Mine's a little worried. Cause I found that if I'm not fucking clear. I get asked a lot of questions and some of them are fucking stupid questions. Like, I didn't know using ChatGPT was cheating. No shit. I'm not making this up. I've been asked this, then in like computer science, I was even asked, I did the code myself, but then I gave it to ChatGPT to correct it. Motherfucker, that's still cheating. You submitted that shit for a test. That's not your work. ChatGPT fixed it. So I've had to be specific on some stuff. But I will do my best to help each and every one of you pass this class. I will not give you a passing grade. You will earn a passing grade. If you pass this class. It's not charity. If I do charity, I'm literally, I might as well just. That was gonna be inappropriate, I can't say that. Might as well just slap you. And that's still inappropriate, but like, it's way better than what was gonna come out. Because I'm not doing you any favors by passing you in this course, because every fucking hand in here raised for I'm taking top one. So like, you don't know how to do this, you're fucked in top one. I know, we're pretty soon gonna have students starting next fall. We're not allowed to teach trigonometry anymore, or pre-calc B or A. We're not allowed to teach any of these courses by law. The law it's been mandated. And so every incoming student that wants to start in the STEM fields has to start in calculus. Whether they have good trig skills or calculus or algebra skills or not. It's gonna be like a bloodbath. Hopefully you guys will be past that point by then, because Jefe's class will be ready for Calc 1 in spring and good to go. If you got siblings that are coming to the sequence or in high school or elementary school and you think they have any interest in engineering, tell them to make sure they take all the math courses they can in high school, because they're not gonna get that chance later on. We have to start at calculus 1. Starting next fall. I do not take attendance other than today, we're doing it like, because I gotta do first day roll. I can't grade you on attendance, so why take attendance? It's your job to be here. If you like, I got my degree. I went to school every day. I got my degree. I get paid. You know what you're here for. If it's not to get a degree and get a better job, you may not care. But hopefully that will be the reminder you need to keep showing up. You will learn more here than on Zoom. Like if you have to be on Zoom, I know Keith is busy. But he zooms in, he'll come once in a while. But you're better off here. Because it's easier to ask questions and stuff like that. It forces you to pay attention. Not forced, but like. If like Lydia pulls out her phone and she starts going through her phone, and you're like, what the fuck? Like I'm lecturing, stop. Don't do it. I strongly recommend you don't use earbuds during class. I noticed this summer, when summer classes are like 3.5 hours. Students that would answer questions in class and like for some of the stuff. Would have earbuds in, but like when they got to the test, they didn't do well. Which means, because I would see them like bopping their head to the music every once in a while, I'm like, I know if you're fucking bopping your head to the music, I don't have your 100% attention, which I know can get boring in a math class for 2 hours. But I will try to break it up. We'll take breaks, I'll tell stupid jokes. I will avoid math jokes. I am not that teacher. Every once in a while I'll share one, but it's like maybe 1 or 2 a semester. You won't be able to use earbuds on tests. I'll be looking. Because I have, I'm on like Reddit and I've heard since little getting caught having recorded what they wanted to like have notes for their tests. If you're allowed notes in here, which I haven't decided yet, it'll be a 3x5 card. You don't need the audio version. Cheating, don't cheat. If you have any curiosity of what cheating involves, ask me. But if it's not your work that you're submitting on a test, you're cheating. You would think that's undoable on a paper test, but there are apps, and I've had someone closer than, this is Lydia by the way. I had someone sitting closer to me than Lydia cheat on an exam, and I knew she was a cheater because she had cheated on a previous test, so I made her sit up front where I could watch her, and she still fucking cheated. I don't know how, when I called her on it, like, she admitted, so it was like, I'm not wrong. She told me, yeah, I did cheat. She took the zeros on the problem that were clear, she cheated on all the problems. But I could have given her a 0 on all the tests, but I gave her a 0 on the one she missed. Or when she cheated on. Don't cheat. The less you rely on external tools, the better for you. Now, it's very handy using things like Desmos and ChatGPT to check your work. Or if you're not sure where to start something, you can put it in and like, but don't like read the whole thing. Read enough to get yourself started and then try to do the rest on your own. Because if you rely on other people telling you how to do it, you're not gonna be able to do it on the test. Okay? Homework is on my MyLab, we'll cover that a little bit. There are people in here that lead very busy lives. Is anyone in here a parent? Parents lead busy lives whether you have a job or not. Homework is optional. You do not have to do homework. I strongly recommend you do. I recommend you do as much as you can. There is extra credit, as I told you, on the level up thing, as we'll get to in a bit. But do as much as you need to master the topic. And if you're shooting for the extra credit thing, do more. Some people like don't have time to do all the questions. And they fall behind trying to do that. If you are one of those people that have a family and have a job, do what you need to do to learn the material, but like you don't have to do every question. There's always like more than necessary if you're decent at math. But alternatively, if you find that you didn't get enough questions, you can always go back and ask for another question in my MyLab. They'll show you how. And give you more questions with similar numbers to give you more practice. So you can do as much or as little as you need. So your grade is not based on homework, it will be based on tests. Hence the extra credit for doing homework. That's your connection. The tests will be, we have 3 tests and a final. Every one of them is gonna be worth 25%. In general, no makeup test will be given. I cave. If you have a doctor's note, I cave. If you don't have a doctor's note, you might get lucky and I might be able to give you an extension. But generally, I don't want to do that because it's not fair to the students that learn the shit on time. So trying to do that. A student shared this with me to add to my syllabi and I loved it. Crying is permitted in all exams, so long as you do so quietly. I will bring tissue paper or weakness tissues, whatever they're called. What do they call them on 30 Rock? Something like that, weakness tissues. I have a jar or bottle that says tears of my student, given to me by a student. That's the preferable way if you feel like crying on the test, but no one's done it yet. I really want to say that I had tears in there at one point. But we will do the group practice test as I was telling you about. It will help you prepare. And like I said, there may be rewards. If you think you might qualify for classroom accommodations like extra time on a test, different things that you might need, you can check with the AAC, the Accessibility Center, and see if you qualify. There's information up there on how to get a hold of them to do that. But they do offer for people that qualify bonus time testing. You'll have to go to like a testing facility on the day of the test and do it there. But some people use it and it gives them double the time, up to double the time. And if you're a person that needs that, they'll be able to work with you on that. Finalists 25%, it will be on Wednesday, December 4th, which is like right before the finals start, which is good for you in one way. It means you're not worrying about it while you're getting ready for the finals. Okay. I will have the official day of the final is normally Wednesday, December 11th. People are done by then, like I'm getting people, I found the later in the week, finals week it is, the less students like are actually ready to do the test. Which seems wrong to me because you have more time to study for it, but they're like, I took tests for English and I did this class and I'm fucking burned out, I'm ready for this semester to be done. So it's just easier to do it earlier. But you'll be able to come in on that Wednesday and come and ask your questions. Like I said, the test will be 2 hours in here. They're designed to not take 2 hours. On the homework, if you do at least 70%, you will level up. In Canvas, I will have a little level up grade that does not affect your grades, like we're 0 points. Or 0 towards your actual grade, but it'll like track your level. So that when I'm doing it, I know how much extra you're getting. It starts off relatively small, it's 1% on the first test, but if you do it on the second, it's cumulative. Since there's 4 tests, you can get up to 4%. And the 4th test is the final, and I'll bump it up to 5% on the final. 5% extra credit is half of a level grade. For just doing your homework. And not all of it, just 70%. Normal letter scoring applies here. I'll be honest, if you get an A- in here, it's because I rounded up a B+. I don't give students an A- if they got like a 90 or 91%, because that's some bullshit. A+'s aren't worth extra on your GPA. I don't think A- should penalize you. An A is worth a 4.0, an A- is worth 3.7. So if you're working on keeping your GPA up, an A- lowers your fucking grade, even though you got above 90%. That's some bullshit to me. So if you get an A- in your transcript from me, you actually scored like 89.7% and I rounded you up. I actually copied and pasted the stuff from the handout here for enrolling, but I'll go to the other handout on the syllabus to show you. And it also has a detailed things to do here. Drop dates. You want to drop and not have a W on your transcript, it's by Sunday, August 25th, which is not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And with the W, it's Friday, October 18th. Take care. And if you do need to go, this is recorded so you can see I did this stuff later. I'll come over here back to the syllabus. Look at the student registration handout. And it's going to walk us through how to do it. So I'm going to click on that link. And I'm going to change it. Let's do a new person. djohn12345 at gmail.com. This is not my email. Oh yeah, fuck it. I don't care. Trig12345. Oh, you want an uppercase letter? No, fuck that. Actually, it is not a drop down. Used to be. Oh, I guess it is. I will say I am a student. I am a college student undergrad. Even if you're a high school student, you should put college student undergrad because you're taking a college class. I don't know this one. 10 dash 2000. That sounds good. Yep. Come created, continue. This is a good idea. This is new. I want to say they added it during the summer. You would be surprised how many students create this fucking account and then don't write down their password and pick a password they don't fucking remember. I don't know your password. Did you email me and go, I don't know my password? I don't know what the fuck you think I do. So I'm not gonna know. You're gonna have to go through the fun process of contacting Pearson to get access back into your account. I did the mobile phone thing so that you can always do this, but since this is a dummy account, I'm just gonna skip it. Now you should only need single term access. What the fuck? Plus $6.99 a month. Oh, don't do the subscription one. If anything, do this one down here. The only reason to do the 149.99 one is if you think you're gonna fail this class. If you plan on putting in the work, the single term access gives you enough to full access to it to the end of the semester, and you'll be good. Do that. If you're waiting on financial aid, you can click get temporary access over here. It tells you when you're gonna need to put something in by. I'm gonna say yes, because I'm not paying for a book that I teach. Just to show you how to do it. You might want to print that in case you have problems later on, you need to contact them. Or print as a PDF. You'll see this is like the kind of screen you get. It says temporary access expires at board meeting days. You can click upgrade access here. It is cheapest online using a credit card or debit card. If you go to the bookstore, it is more expensive. If you have a voucher, then no, it's not, obviously. You can go to the bookstore, but I would do that here. Maybe I need to call them because they didn't do this, we didn't set up this class till like in the summer or late spring. After all the book registration was done, they may not have my book on there. I'll email them today, but you can upgrade with here, like if you're waiting to get paid. Or something like that. If you get paid at the end of the month, yeah, it's 12th. You can wait a few days, like when you get in, you don't have to register today. You get in here, this is what you'll see. And the first one's due August 19th, which is next Tuesday. So you can literally wait till Sunday to buy it. And they give you Sunday afternoon to do it. One section is not a hard section. 5.1 is like the basic shit. There is extra credit on here that I will apply to the exam as well if you go through it. It's not a point for point thing, but like if you do this, you'll get like bonus percentage on your test as well. And like, let's just take a look at an example. You have access to all of them at any time. If you are an overachiever and you think you can do the entire semester in 2 weeks and not have to pay for access, all my videos are up for previous semesters I showed you on YouTube. You could, let's do this course. I don't recommend it. You'll still have to take the test, but that's an option. When you're in here, there's a couple things like student gradebook will show you how you did. But e-text contents, we're starting on chapter 5. You can click on e-text contents, come to chapter 5, like say we're doing 5.1. And it gives you options of stuff to look at. The e-text will be like a PDF version kind of thing. If you click on videos, it gives you videos done by other people so that you can see a different instructor's perspective. Okay. What tab am I on there in? Video resource library is probably the best way to go. If you do like chapter 5, we're starting in 5, let's say 5.3, and you click select all. You'll see animations, a PowerPoint, the textbook, short videos. Like I'm recording lecture, a 2-hour block of lecture. If we're lucky, we're done in an hour, but usually it'll be over an hour, hour and a half, something like that. If you want to just get straight to a specific topic, you can find it really quickly here. But this is pretty handy. For your homework, you're doing stuff in here. And they're in sequence, follow the order. The due dates are on the left. I'll just pick a random one here. Some of them have more questions than others. But to give you a little example of what's going on. This is not a good example. All right. So it's asking you for some questions here. What angle does the line? We'll cover how to do the angles and stuff. You can magnify the view better, obviously. Shrink the view down. Sometimes they'll try to say do it by the picture, but it's easier to do it by the equation as you learn in the class. But if you're like, I'm not sure what's going, oops. What happened? There we go. Oh, I have to reshare it, fucked it all up. What the fuck? Screen, it should be screen. Oh, there we go, that's the problem, it's maximized. Help me solve this, we'll walk you through this problem with the exact same numbers. And then it'll give you another problem to replace it. It's the better way of doing it if you have a question. View an example, we'll show you a similar problem. Notice they both have square root of 3 over 3x. This has +1, the example has +5. And they'll walk through how to do it in the example. And a lot of students like this because they'll like, how do they do it here? Translate over here, what's going on over here, and do it. You can get too reliant on that, where you eventually can't do fucking math on your own without it. Like, so if you find yourself using view an example a lot, every once in a while when you're done with the problem, do another example. I'm going to enter the wrong answer specifically a few times here. Number lock, just so I'll show what happens. You get it wrong, it'll remind you of some shit. Like it says, make a right triangle. Use the hypotenuse. We're going to talk about that stuff. And I'm like, no, that's it. I want to check my answer again. It still tells me you're fucking wrong. And I go, okay, maybe it's fucking 30 degrees. Nope, it might be 30 degrees. I don't want 30 degrees. Let's say 90 degrees. Final check. If you get it correct, it has next question. It should have this option either way. It might just be something, let's see. That looks like, I know the correct answer here without doing the math. That's 45 degrees. This is what it looks like when you get it correct. You can do next question, but if you don't want to do the next question, you're like, I've been doing an example a lot, close this. And notice this now says similar question. And you click similar question, it'll give you another one that's really similar to it. So you can get like more practice on something if you find yourself doing view an example too much. It's worth it because then try to do the next one without the view an example and see if you can do it. If you can, you actually learned it. If not, you were effectively doing tracing paper and you're not an artist. Okay. Other ways that you can do is get my help, ask my instructor. When you do this, you should like tell me what you're doing wrong. Or like where you're stuck, if it's a multi-part problem, what section you're on. Give me a little information if you can. The barest minimum is sending me this. I'll show you what it looks like when I get it. I get a link to it, and if you type a question, I'll see what you typed. But then I can click on it and I can see the exact problem and numbers you're working on. So it's like a helpful way of showing me what you're doing. If you text me, some students like to do the text and like show, take a picture of the word and like, this is what I did, I don't know what's wrong. And if you wrote down if you do that, you should write down what the problem is. Not just like what number or what the problem was asking, so I know that you're doing it. Or what you're supposed to be doing. That works as well. But ask my instructor is pretty, what the hell is this? Oh, hopefully it's turned off. And that's kind of what's going on in Pearson or MyLab. It'll walk you through it. Then when you want to get to it again, let's see. I do not have a link up over here. I will put a link to my MyLab over here, where you can just click on it, it'll take you to the MyLab page. You'll have to log in, but if you're doing it on your laptop at home, you'll have the login and password saved and shit, and be able to get in quickly. Is there any questions? I'll do roll real quick, and yeah,
Yeah, the tests, are they gonna be on paper?
Are we going to bring the calculator from Infotech or are we on our own?
you should bring a calculator, you just need a basic scientific calculator. Grabbing calculators are a waste of fucking time and money. Don't use bring a phone, like a real calculator. You can get them fairly cheap. Not sure what class you're in here for, we're not done with this class yet. though.
Okay,
But it's okay if you wanna sit down, just letting you know. They're like $10, $15 at Target or Walmart, and this will literally last you through the entire. I've never used a different calculator, I had this as a student. It's fucking old as fuck. Still works just fine. Surprise, it's solar, but I don't use it outside, so I don't know how the fuck it generates electricity. I really don't know, I've had it for like over a decade, it still works. Batteries don't last that long, I know that, and I don't use it outside, so I don't know where it's getting its sunlight. Alright, roll call. If I fuck up your name, please say something. If you let me say your name wrong and I do it like the entire semester and you correct me at the end, saying it's not that, it's this, you're the asshole in this situation, not me. I don't wanna be the asshole that fucks up your name. So let me know. Don't make me look like an asshole. Juan Alatoria.
Sure.
Alright. Job or Job? Alcantar. Manuel. Hi, Manuel. Miguel. Balthazar. Valencia. Miguel. No, Miguel. Alfonso. Is that the fucking right roster? Cynthia.
Yeah.
Jose.
Here.
Alaya. Carrasco. Jennifer. And if you prefer a different name, let me know. Like even if I get your name right, you're like, I don't go by Nicholas, I go by Nikki. Let me know. Peyton. Hi Peyton. Keith is online, Andrew. Oh, I'll fuck up this last name. Gowerly? Gowerle? Andrew's not answering. Ah, shit, Kaya? Is it right?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Charles. Hi, Charles. Cameron? Cameron Hood? That's why there's as many empty seats as there is. How, Owen?
Here.
Hi, Owen. Edgar.
Here.
Davis left. Victor. Karen. You poor
Sorry.
thing. You go by another name?
Oh, no.
God, this last few years have been fucking rough on you. That's some shit right there. When your name is used as a fucking like entitled bitch. That's fucked. I feel for you. Jimmy. If I say Jimmy, every once in a while, I will say Yimmy. I play D&D with the Jimmy, we call him Yimmy all the time, just to fuck with him. So if I do that, it's probably talking about him and you. Okay? Anthony.
Here.
Brian.
Here.
Monica. Hi, Monica. Jordan.
Here.
Leticia.
Here.
Esteban.
Here.
Gabriella. Elisa? Which one? Edward. Gabrielle. Gabrielle Robles, okay. Is this?
Here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call you Jesus. I'm white, but I'm not that white.
Thanks.
Desiree. Desiree Rogers. Ooh, wow, this is a, wow. This name has, the first name is 4 letters, the last name is 4 letters. And there are 5 fucking A's between the 8 different letters. That's a lot of fucking A's. Allah? That makes this easier. I can't fuck that name up. Justin.
Here.
Where? Hey, Justin. Angel. Gavin.
Here.
James is not here. I'll have to email him. I know James. Jesse.
Here.
Hi, Jesse. All right, that covers everybody. Well, if you guys had an ad code, you're not on the list. Go ahead. And you'll be fine. Then I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I recommend if you're not a note taker or learn down taking notes. I will see you Wednesday.
All right, have a good day, Professor Jones.
See you, Keith.
You gotta be on the, how long does it get added to the?
It might be by noon.
Oh, definitely today, though.
It should definitely be by today.
Alright.